There are not many instances in sports where you see legendary comebacks. It requires skill, perseverance, and luck. But on the rare occasion when there is a comeback, it'll be remembered forever. You'll remember where you were, what you were eating, or what you were doing, while you witnessed the legendary moment. This is the Great Comeback. The first event of the season began with the Rangers placing 7th in the funnel race. A top 8 finish is always a great start, and they would actually improve on that in the next event, as they placed 5th in long jump. This stuck them at 8th place overall, but they were within 15 points of the leading Chocolatiers. This led to the team feeling a lot of confidence early on, especially from Kanoan, who said, quote, "All the teams are really close right now. One medal could change the whole standings, and we believe we have what it takes to get that medal," end quote. Collision was the next event, and the Rangers once again got a top half finish, as they placed 7th in the event. They rose to 7th overall, and still just 15 points from the top spot. Worthy to note, however, is the Savage Speeders, who were 11th overall at the end of this event. The Rangers remained consistent, but suddenly, things weren't going their way.
Time on that too. Chocolatiers, Rangers, Momo, and the Shining Swarm.
The next event was the 5-meter sprint.
Big leap.
And although the O's were loud,
Way will it be a marble?
this would be the first time the Rangers didn't place top half this season, as they finished in 11th. They fell down to 10th place overall. Even though they had a great finish in 3rd place at the hurdles event, they would once again fall and end up in 14th in the relay race. Many articles came out talking about this sudden decline, and to make matters worse, during this fall, the Savage Speeders won 3 consecutive medals, allowing them to take the lead and then stretch it to 22 points by the end of the relay race. The Rangers fell to 9th, and were a mind-boggling 41 points back from the Savage Speeders. But positivity was still high. Clementin was showing a lot of confidence, saying, quote, "Nothing is impossible," end quote.
Shining Swarm and Pinkies will be moving on. Shining Swarm, after breaking the 80-centimeter mark and setting a new marble.
A new event entered the competition, called block
On the
pushing.
way. A strong.
This was big for the Rangers. A medal could move them up and shine some light on an up and down season. But a low finish again would lower their championship hopes. A day before the event, Kanoan said, quote, "This is it. If we get a solid finish, we move up the standings in a huge way. But anything less than that will just lower our hopes." The team made their way to the finals.
Coming down the line, making the impacts. The Rangers are going to push clear.
And got the solid finish they desired. The Rangers ended up finishing with a gold medal, breaking the block pushing record in the process. This catapulted the Rangers to 4th place. But the Savage Speeders finished in 5th, meaning they still had a 22-point lead over 2nd place. But this didn't dwindle the Rangers. The Marble who made the famous quote in the last event continued to show optimism. Clementin said, quote, "This is huge. We all work together so well. We've closed the gap and we plan on closing it further and further. We got this," end quote.
A little wide on that one. Actually went into the stand.
The next event was high jump, and the Rangers once again showed their perseverance. They ended up getting the 2nd best jump of the day, only beaten out by Mellow Yellow, and won another medal, this time a silver. And once again, the gap closed even more. with only 18 points separating the O'Rangers from the Savage Speeders. And now, they were in second overall. The O'Rangers fanbase started to explode, and all the O's continued to become louder and louder. The hype for the O'Rangers was building, but Speedy seemed not too worried by the team's sudden success, saying, quote, "We still have a big lead, and we've been consistently getting top 5 finishes from our team. The next event is a speed event, our specialty, and we're expecting a high place in this one," end quote. Speedy does make a good point. During these last 2 events, the speeders haven't been bad at all. They actually have gotten a top 5 finish in the past 5 events. A silver in the 5-meter sprint from Speedy, a silver in the hurdles event from Swifty, a gold at the relay race, 5th place at block pushing, and another 5th place at high jump from Wizzy. This insane consistency kept the speeders out in front, and in the next event, the speeders would extend that streak to 6. After quietly placing fairly high in previous events, the speeders knew they had to get something going after seeing the O'Rangers past 2 events. Pressure from the media and fans were reaching colossal heights. Many headlines were rooting heavily for the O'Rangers, and who could blame them? The O'Rangers were on a roll. Even though the steeplechase was a speed event, many questioned if the speeders would respond in a big way. And the answer to that question was a resounding yes.
Think about that. All right, our leaders in the Marble Olympics, the Savage Speeders, seeming always to live up to their name, and looking pretty quick here. A little bit out of sorts. Still clocking in some good times, 41.57.
The Savage Speeders lived up to their name. They got a gold medal in the steeplechase. The O'Rangers placed well in 4th, but this increased the Speeders' lead to 31 over the O'Rangers, who were now sitting in 3rd. Rapidly made a comment after the race, saying, quote, "We clutched up. This is exactly what we needed heading into the final stretch. We are now more than a gold medal away from 2nd place," end quote. A comeback didn't seem feasible anymore. We didn't know it yet, but the speeders celebrated a little too early. The next few events would prove to be huge, but the speeders seemed to have ridden the high horse, and over the next 3 events delivered a choke job for the ages, while the O'Rangers put themselves in perfect position to strike down the favorites. They took 8th place in archery, while the speeders took 13th, bringing the gap down to 26. Then there was the underwater race.
Now in our final of 4 heats, the Midnight Wisps, the Jungle Jumpers, Team Primary, and the Savage Speeders. Team Primary and the Savage Speeders fighting down there on these near ones, but it really is not going to matter. Our leaders in the Marble Olympics.
The Savage Speeders once again had a disappointing finish, with Speedy, the marble usually known for being clutch, getting 12th place in the event. The O'Rangers, on the other hand, had the opposite result. In the semifinals, Kanoan set a new Marble Olympics record in the event.
Advance to keep this fight alive, and it looks like they're going to. In fact, they're going to win this heat. They will advance to the final in a very good time, I might add. Oh, there it is. It's a new record. 13:12.
And Kanoan would go on to win a silver medal. This meant the gap was just 10 points. By the end of this event, the Savage Speeders and the O'Rangers were the only teams that could win it all. It would all come down to one more race. The Sand Rally. Clementon was chosen to race for the O'Rangers. Swifty was chosen for the Savage Speeders. The latter's performance would prove to be fatal, as Swifty placed 12th overall. This capped off a disappointing last 3 events for the Savage Speeders. and Swifty's performance gave the Speeders only 4 points in the final event. This still meant the O'rangers needed at least a bronze medal to win it all. Clementon set himself up perfectly by advancing to the final.
End of the course coming up here. There you see the finish line. There you go. The Rangers will advance. Actually, they slipped to third. That's still good enough. So the door is open.
And he would end up getting a silver medal in the sand rally.
Is anybody going to come up there and challenge him? Really, at this point, they don't have to win the event to win the Marble Olympics. They've got a good enough...
The O'rangers did it. Even though they lost the gold medal to Starry, it was enough to complete the comeback. Greg Woods said it best.
O'rangers lose the battle but win the war. The O'rangers lose out to Team Galactic right at the end. But they are your 2017 Marble Olympics champions.
The greatest comeback ever. Finishing 6 points ahead of the Speeders, the O'rangers grabbed their first ever title. The O's could be heard from miles away. Even though the closing ceremony ended, the celebration was just beginning. It is still the largest comeback in marble sports history. And this championship win not only led to continued success over the past few years, but drew many eyes to the team, giving them one of the biggest and most loyal fan bases in marble sports. Despite all odds, the O'rangers did the impossible and completed the great comeback.